Hey, what's up? This is Panky. Welcome back to my channel. As you can see in my background, I'm surrounded with different kinds of plants. So in this video, I'm going to show to you the easiest plants that you can care for as an amateur, as a newbie like me in this kind of hobby. But before that, kindly like this video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and click the bell icon for you to receive notifications. So just a little background. A year ago, I already started to introduce plants here inside my house. I think I started 4 plants. It's for design and to add accent inside my house. And then come this pandemic, everything has changed, right? Temporarily and permanently. I used to travel a lot, but now traveling is very limited. And if you do have to travel, requirements is really strict, so I have to maximize my time here inside my house. So I started switching or trying different hobby. I've learned a new hobby, which is planting. Planting is fun. It creates a connection with you and the nature, but I'm just new in this kind of hobby. So for those out there who is also new in this kind of hobby, we can relate to each other. The selection of these plants were made based on its availability and also how easy they are to be managed. So as a newbie in planting, I would not advise you to get rare and expensive plants kasi yung mga rare na plants, it's pricey, of course, it's pricey, and also it's really hard to be managed. I mean, they are hard to be taken care of. I would advise you to have the common and the easy to be managed plants, since you still have to learn the skills in planting. The first plant that I have introduced here in my house is the Caladium. The Caladium is very common and very usual in a tropical country. It's kind of unusual houseplant since it thrives more in an outside shaded environment, but it's so easy to grow inside your house. It thus flourishes and it resembles like butterflies inside your house, which can add vibrancy and enthusiasm. But remember that the leaves of the Caladium are poisonous to pets and also to your children. That's why you have to keep them out of reach. The second plant I'm going to show to you is the golden pothos. Another indoor plant that blossoms inside your house without giving much attention into it. It crawls downward, making a hanging appearance, so it's better if it's placed in an elevated platform. The color of golden pothos gives a surprising appeal and accent, especially if it's situated at a white wall or white background. This golden pothos is very common here in the Philippines. You can actually see this sa mga mall, sa park, and more commonly I can see this plant sa mga garden. One of the best features of this plant is that it thrives in a low light environment. That's why it's one of the top choices among other plants that can be placed inside the bathroom. It also acts like a natural purifier, giving you additional benefit when it's placed inside your bathroom. The third plant that I have here is the Philodendron Celium. The Celium is one of the most famous indoor plants, or even outdoor. It's because of how easy they are to be taken care of. What I love about this plant is that they resemble like hands na parang nayakap sa inyo. Parang gano'n. Medyo creepy, but yun yung gusto ko sa kanya eh, yung parang hands yung nakaganon. Ayan. This plant is very easy to propagate. If you're thinking of selling your plants in the future, then you might want to consider growing and propagating this kind of plant. The fourth houseplant that I'm going to show you is the Cigar plant. The Cigar plant is one of the massive houseplants that you might want to ponder in your place. It's very sensitive to direct sunlight. That's why it's very suitable if it's placed in a shady spot with lots of indirect light. Now the Cigar plant can grow as tall as 7 to 8 feet, and the leaves expand as big as your whole body. One of the best features of this plant is that it does not need to be watered a lot. Once a week is enough, so you just want to leave it there. Another plant that I have here inside my house is the birds of paradise. The plant has a stunning display of large tropical leaves and grow as tall as 8 feet. The foliage and its remarkable size makes it as one of the most favorite houseplants. The best spot for this plant for interior is that if it's placed in a corner. But remember that its placement should have at least medium light conditions. The flowers of this plant resembles like a bird, that's why it's called the birds of paradise. Colors of the flowers varies. What I have here is the red and yellow flowers. Another plant that I'm going to show to you is the peace lily or the sensation. The peace lily or the sensation is best as a gift plant kasi yung name niya is peace lily. If you have friends or families or relatives that you want to make peace with, so the best gift that you can give him is the peace lily because of its name, peace lily, right? And another feature of this plant is that you just water it once a week. It can tolerate medium to low light. It's also one of the best house plants that is very easy to be managed. The last two plants that I'm going to show to you are the most amateur-friendly house plant in the world. These plants are the easiest to be managed. If you're an amateur or if you're newbie in planting, you should consider having these plants. The ZZ plant, or commonly known as the welcome plant, can thrive on long periods of dry conditions. It's a great choice for travelers just like me. It's because it has a rhizomous root system that holds on to as much as water as it can absorb. It is also contented on a low light situation, so it can be placed anywhere inside your house. But my preference is that if it's placed near doors because it's called the welcome plant, right? So when you have visitors, when you got home, the welcome plant will say welcome. Another most amateur-friendly plant that I have here in my house is the Sansevieria. The Sansevieria are commonly known as the snake plant. They are the most tolerant and adapts to an imperfect environmental conditions than almost any other houseplants. It's the easiest plant in the world to care for. It's the most amateur-friendly plant in the world. You water this plant just once a month and it does grow a long way. If you're a newbie and you're thinking of getting a new plant, this should be your top choice. So those are the plants that you might want to consider if you are new or if you are just an amateur in this kind of hobby. I'm not advising you or I'm not recommending you to get the rare plants yet kasi don't commit the same mistakes that I have done na bumili ka agad ako ng mga rare expensive plants and at the end, namatay lang sila. So remember, if you're new in this kind of hobby, it doesn't matter how rare or expensive your plants are. What matters is that how you care for them, how you grow them, and how you manage your plants. You learn the skills, you make connection with them, and you learn their behaviors. And in time, you will be ready to care for the rare and expensive plants. Patience, you need a lot of that in this hobby. Another advice is that have fun in learning, have fun in planting. Kasi at the end of the day, these plants will give you as much as benefit that you could think of. That's all for now, guys. I hope you learned something from an amateur plant grower like me. Please watch out for my next video. I'm going to show you my collections of my precious and my rare plants that I have here inside my house. See ya!